So this next topic is a pretty controversial one with a lot of real estate agents, and we're going to be talking about something called buyer rebates. Now this is something that maybe some of you have heard of, others haven't, but I'm going to try to unpack it in this video. So, when we think about sellers, for example, negotiating the commission that they're paying their agent when they're listing their home for sale, this of course is something that many of us know is not fixed, it's negotiable. Some agents charge 5%, some charge 4%, but the point is the seller can negotiate with their agent. Now what a lot of people don't realize is that even though a buyer's agent is paid by the seller's brokerage, technically that commission is actually also negotiable with the buyer. So for example, if I'm a buyer and I have a real estate agent and I know that they're getting paid, say, 2.5% of the purchase price of the home, I can negotiate with them that they will give me what's called a rebate of $1,000 or $2,000, after I purchase a home. And the way you do this is in your buyer representation agreement, you would have to include a clause that effectively says that the buying brokerage agrees to pay you a couple $1,000s on completion of the transaction. And then the buying brokerage will actually cut you a check for $2,000 on closing. So next question, of course, is should everyone do this? Why doesn't everyone do this? It sounds like free money. Why shouldn't we all do this? The reality is I'd say most people don't do this because if you have an agent that you want to work with and are really leaning towards working with them, my experience is most people are choosing an agent that they trust, that is very competent, and that they really want to work with, and the rebate isn't the primary driver. For other agents and for other buyers, for some buyers who just don't value maybe what a lot of agents do and think they're just opening up lockboxes, they're more inclined to do that. And when we think about the agents that will offer rebates versus the ones that don't, from my experience, the agents that are very successful, good at what they do, and are very busy usually don't, because they kind of don't need to. They don't want to separate themselves based on commission. They just want to be better at what they do, and they want people who are working with them to work with them because they're better at what they do, not because they're giving a rebate. Whereas younger agents or junior agents who don't sell a lot of homes might think to themselves, well, making $15,000 is better than making $0, even if I have to give a $5,000 rebate. So some agents who don't do a lot of sales may be more inclined to offer their client a rebate if their thinking is, I'm not going to make that money anyways. So I think, again, part of it is in the next video, I'm going to kind of unpack why buyers should even think about asking for a rebate, even if they don't really want one, because it can actually reveal a lot about how agents communicate, how they deal in what can be stressful situations. No one likes haggling or talking about money and those types of things. But as a buyer, it can kind of reveal a lot about how the real estate agent you're considering working with deals with these situations. Even if you actually don't really want a rebate, it might be a good question to ask. So in an upcoming video, I'm going to unpack how to think about those questions and the things to spot and look for if you decide to ask your agent some of these difficult questions when interviewing them.
I hope you found that buyer tip helpful. If you're buying a home in the Toronto area's very competitive housing market and want an edge, sign up for my free 1-hour webinar on the top 10 strategies that are going to give you that advantage. You're going to learn the number one thing that you need to know in deciding what price to offer on a home, why price alone is not the only factor that leads someone to win in a multiple offer situation, and how to find value in good homes that other buyers overlook. Click the link above or below to sign up now to give yourself that advantage in Toronto's housing market.